Here's to Main Street, not Wall Street. Here's to being invested in each other. Here's to a return to what matters. Elevations Credit Union. It matters where you bank. Visit us online to see why.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. And wow, we only have a short period of time again. I was just talking to a few people earlier. I said, that 15 minutes in that Power Talks, that is really difficult to cram a lot of great information into that 15 minutes, but I was glad to have that opportunity. But we have a few more minutes to work with today, so this afternoon, so we're going to jump right to it. I'm glad you all came out to this session, and we're going to go right through it, and I'm going to make sure I've already given myself a shut up alarm, because if I don't, I will keep talking, so that I'll have plenty of time for Q&A. And I have a second session right after this, but if you see me anytime after that second session, or you see me at any of the functions, because I will be at the functions, we are going to have a reception where you'll get to meet myself and the other speakers from the TED Talks this afternoon as well. So anytime you have any questions about anything, please stop me, talk to me about it. Also, here's some information in case you don't have this. Here's my website and my email address. And I want to take you to my website really quickly, so I want to share with you some information that will be very beneficial to you. I want to move through this stuff relatively quickly. At the bottom of the screen is where you can get all of my social media. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, my YouTube channel. I don't know if you were there this morning when the gentleman was talking about the power of using video. He was hitting the nail on the head when he was talking about using YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel, but it's all about you. And then, of course, Google+, which is a great social network, very much like Facebook. But what I've discovered about Google+ is that the users tend to be better educated, better employed, which means you'll probably get better prospects in there. So get this information. Let me take you to the website real quick so you can see what I was speaking of. Navigate you to the website real quick. All right, nothing fancy here, but here's links to all the social media. You want to click there, it'll take you right there. Facebook, just click like, and you'll get to follow me. Over here on the left side, if you're an iPhone or an iPad user, click on that, and it's going to take you over to the iOS 8 page. Now, right here across the top, it says get the PDF handout here. This will be very useful to you because right under that link is a guide to tips and tricks and useful ideas on using your iPad and your iPhone that maybe you never discovered it could do. My internet's running a little slowly here, but this PDF will take you exactly where you need to go. It'll also give you some tips and tricks on how to manage your devices, how to make sure that you keep your browser clean, how to keep your email clean, all those kinds of things. These are things that I want to remind you when you follow me on social media. I call it Mobile Device Maintenance Day. And I've been doing that every month for the last 7 years. And I still get people emailing me, thanking me to reminding them for that. So just click on my website and click on iPhone, iPad. Now, if you're an Android user, just click on Android. Same thing. There's a link right here, it's PDF handout. This is all up to date, but I'm working on it to get it more up to date with the new 4.4 KitKat operating system and some of the new features that are coming out with the Galaxy Note 4, the HTC One M, and the Galaxy S5. There's some new features out, so I'm going to be updating this. So you can always come back and get to these. Notice that when you click on them, I'm not asking for an email address. I don't want to capture any information. It's all free. It's wide open. Invite other people there. Just go and get it at your leisure. If you have a BlackBerry, and I know even if you do, you might want to keep it in your pocket. And you don't want to let anybody know that you keep a BlackBerry. All right. I still use my BlackBerry. All right. There's the BlackBerry handout there, as well as the Windows 8 system too. Down at the bottom of my web page, if you haven't done so, if you came to the Power Talks, you heard me talk a little bit about Dropbox. Get yourself a Dropbox right here, and then get yourself an Evernote right here. I'm going to talk about a little bit more about those this afternoon as well. All right, I want to play something really quick for you. I think you're going to enjoy this.
Emma. Emma?
Not anymore.
Emma?
Every day it's getting on my nerves.
Emma?
Oh, I'm
Emma?
begging you,
Emma?
leave me alone. Oh, you
I love this YouTube video, this commercial, because it illustrates that paper still has a place in our society. Even though we're trying to get away from it, I say that it's going to be that way for a while. Okay. Here, I want you to do something for me. I want you to go on your phone. If you're connected to the internet on your tablet, I want you to send me an email, please. Send me an email to TechTools, TechTools. It's right here from your phone, TechTools at pdapowerplus.com. TechTools at pdapowerplus.com. Now, in the subject line, I only want you to put this. This is important. CAR space 2014. I love doing this because invariably somebody's going to put CAR 2014 without the space, or they're going to put I was in your class or something, and because of that, they're not going to get the experience. So I want you to type this in exactly the way it is, TechTools at pdapowerplus.com, and then in the subject line only. You don't have to put anything in the body. I'm never going to open this email. CAR space 2014. Anybody still need the address? All right, I'll leave it up there just a few seconds longer. TechTools at pdapowerplus.com. All right. We're going to talk about how this technology has really changed the world of real estate. It really has, from a number of different perspectives, because now you've got this very high demand, very tech savvy client base. They've got smartphones, they've got tablets, and they want stuff right now. But because you have those devices, you're able to deliver right then and there, right now, the same way. Creating that mobile office really gives you that advantage. Just subject matter, only in the subject, that's it. CAR 2014. If you don't put that in there, you're not going to get the experience. All right? Okay. Now, so as I was saying, that this technology has really given us a distinct advantage that we can provide what our clients need and want right away, even though we're not tethered to our desk. We can be in our market areas. We could be somewhere else in town. You can be out of the country and still run your office when you have a complete mobile office system on your tablet or your phone. Great tools are out there for you to use, cloud-based applications for networking, for marketing, systems like Trulia, systems like Dotloop, using our Dropbox, our Evernote, all these different tools out there to make it work, to build those customer relationships and keep them on an even keel. You can relate to people much more fluidly now because you have access to them 24/7 through your mobile technology. Instant communication is what it's really all about. Documents. We haven't used documents like this in ever. Imagine someone asking you for a copy of the flyer or a contract or a slideshow, and you're out of the office. Well, instead of calling someone at the office and having them fax the document over or telling the client, when I get back to the office, I'll send it to you, imagine pulling over into a parking lot and opening up your Dropbox right there on your phone and delivering that document to them. People ask me all the time, I have a book called The Google Universe, and every now and then someone will tell me, I got it in the email, but then I messed around and I deleted it. Can you send it again? Well, I'm sitting at an airport. All I have to do is open up Dropbox and go right into the folder, tap it, and send it by Gmail, a 77-page guide. It's a wonderful tool. And so you should have the same capabilities. Google Drive does that. Dropbox does that. And so being able to share this information without having to be tethered to your office, all the way down to closing the deal. I have a group of agents that I work with. I've got 5 guys. They're out of Los Angeles. They gave up their brick and mortar office. They saved about $85,000 a year simply by doing that. Now, they're licensed in both California and Arizona. And so all they do is fly between LA and Phoenix selling real estate. They have me on retainer. They haven't had to pay me in a year and a half because they don't call me. But I'll tell you, last year, they sold almost $800 million in real estate, right? Between Los Angeles and Phoenix. And they don't have a laptop between them. They do everything on their iPhones and their iPads. They work together. From marketing to closing, everything can be done on your mobile devices. So that's the whole idea, creating a solution so that you can leave the laptop at home, work from your mobile devices, and still get the job done, delivering great customer service, great communication, and keeping yourself productive, because then you can get more out of your own personal life if you're more productive in your business life. Now, why not just use your laptop? It's been that old favorite device. It's worked for so long. Why not just lug it around? Well, think of it this way. If you have your laptop with you, now you've got an extra bag that you have to carry. Ladies, you carry your purse. You have a computer bag too. Gentlemen, you've got this computer bag that you're carrying around. Security is an issue now. If you decide to set up office at Starbucks or Panera Bread or something, when you get up to get a cup of coffee, your eyes never leave the table, right? But with a mobile device, just pick it up and put it in your pocket and go and get your coffee, right? So a laptop's liability could be part of security, right? With the mobile devices, you have a much more fluid ability to use it to market and to be more available. Capturing the moment, for example. You're out showing property to a client. You know, you're taking pictures of the listing, you're taking pictures of the carpet and the appliances, but you're also taking photos of the family that's looking at the house. You want to share that experience with them. You can send them these photos. This is what it looked like when you were out looking at this particular property. Newer devices have fast processors, meaning that they can operate just as fast as your laptop can. You look at the new iPhone, the new Androids, even the new Blackberries. The processors in them are equivalent to the processors that are in your laptop computers. So it's not going to slow you down by having a mobile device. And then, of course, portability is everything. Portability is a major benefit. Again, not having to carry that bag, but also the manufacturers now have recognized that we should have a variety of different sizes to work from. So many of us are very comfortable working with that smartphone with the 4.1 or 4.2 inch screen. However, some of us, our arms are starting to get too short to read that screen, right? So what did they do? Samsung came out with the Galaxy Note. It took off like crazy because there were so many people who understood that they could get a great smartphone with a larger screen that they could see easier. It comes with a stylus. You can write on it like a notepad. And if you were playing back multimedia, photos or videos, you've got a much bigger screen to work with. But it's not as big as a small tablet. It's only 5.5 inches, and that's what the Galaxy Note 4 is, 5.5 inches in screen diameter, okay? Now, the Galaxy Mega, you haven't seen those yet, but they are out. Usually you find them in Europe. I actually saw one going through the airport once. This gentleman had one, and I had to stop and then ask him. The Galaxy Mega is a smartphone. Its screen size is 6.3 inches. That is huge. I mean, considering that the iPad mini or the smallest Galaxy Tab is only 7 inches. This is 6.3, right? So this is a huge phone. I mean, it's not something you would put up to your face. I can guarantee you that. But I asked him, I said, well, you know, what is the experience like carrying such a large phone? He says, well, it's not a problem for me. If I'm wearing a jacket, it fits in my jacket just fine. You know, my wife has one, it fits in her purse just fine. Now, if I'm wearing jeans, that might be an issue, okay? But The screen size was perfect for him. He liked the idea of having a note tablet size phone that he could work with. And so you're going to see those come into the U.S. market probably by Christmas. At least that's what I'm hoping. But then the next size up is the first tablet at 7.0 inches. So you've got, 4.0, 4.1, 5.5, 6.3 coming, and then 7.0. You've got this wide variety of devices with different sizes. And these aren't even the full-size tablets yet. This is that Galaxy Mega, as I was talking about. It's a hybrid. It's almost a tablet. It's not quite a phone, right? So they call it a phablet. Okay? Absolutely. That's what the technology people call it. They call it a phablet. But it's the largest smartphone out there. But it's actually a fabulous device. It really is. I'm looking forward to seeing it in the U.S. market. This is what Apple did a few weeks ago when they introduced the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus. Okay? Answering the need of the market. Now, the iPhone 6 is only slightly larger than the iPhone 5S, and I'll show you how it got larger. And then they answered the call with a larger 5.5-inch screen like the Galaxy Note with the 6 Plus. This is kind of a comparison of what they look like. This is the 5S to the left. The iPhone 6 is in the center, slightly larger. Now notice how they got the screen to be bigger. If you look on the sides of the 5S, what you see is they removed the bezel off the left and the right side. And so these devices go completely all the way from left to right. The top and bottom of the devices are relatively the same size, all right, to make room for the speaker and the microphone. But they gave you the extra screen size left to right. And then, of course, there's the 6 Plus at 5.5 inches. Now, moving into, the new technology, now we've got the watches, the iWatch coming out in 2015. The Galaxy, the Android Wear is already in the marketplace, and it is really starting to take off and becoming a really great tool because now you want to operate your phone in many respects without even taking out of your pocket. The portability is here now. You're wearing your device on your wrist. Where have we seen that before? All right. Now, you haven't seen this technology before, but let me be the first to introduce you to it. It's a device called a Tiny Stick. Now, think of a thumb drive that you would stick into a USB, or those of you who are familiar with Chromecast that goes into the HDMI port on your flat screen TV. It's very small, something you can put in your pocket, like a thumb drive. What this does, it converts your smartphone into a desktop computer. So you would plug this into a monitor or into a flat screen television. Now, it connects directly to your smartphone via Bluetooth. Okay? Now, if you have an external keyboard, it works with it as well. But otherwise, you can just work with your phone like you always do, but you're working on a full-size screen. So if you're doing a presentation, if you're working in someone's home and you're working with them in front of the computer, you have the ability to do all of that right there from your smartphone. Who needs a laptop when you have this technology? Now, I am proud to say that this is developed by a personal friend of mine, and it hasn't hit the market yet. The first ones will be out in December. That's when I'm expecting mine. He did to tell you how successful or how really good this technology is, he got a very scathing letter from our friends at Microsoft. When the evil empire sends you a letter, you know you've got something to work with. Also, as proof of that, when he was crowdsourcing, because that's how he got the money to do the manufacturing, and I was one of the people who invested in that, he also got a very large cash injection. He got an investment of over $4 million from one of the gentlemen off of Shark Tank. Yes, so Draymond John saw this technology and said yes, and gave him a check for $4 million so that he could build this. So the technology is there, it's real, and it really gives us that mobile technology that we've always been looking for. So I'm excited about this, and so look for it when it hits the market. Now, the technology has always been with us, to be quite honest with you, all right? You think about it. Back in 1966, some of you are too young to remember this, but 1966, Gene Roddenberry came out with this television show, and it was simply called Star Trek. Okay? Only 79 episodes, but here, 40 years later, 48 years later, almost 50 years later, it's still a phenomenon. Okay? Only 79 episodes. But it changed the landscape so many different ways. Here's a picture. That is Captain James Tiberius Kirk, right? Captain of the Starship Enterprise, holding his Motorola flip phone. Okay? Here is his communications officer, Lieutenant Uhura. See, she's got her hand right on her ear. She's holding her Bluetooth. How about that? 1966, ladies and gentlemen. All right? These are the Starship Enterprise's communicators, right? They look eerily like the iPhone, in my opinion. All right? How about this? Everybody should know this symbol. That is the Starship symbol. They still use it even in the new movies, the new Star Trek movies. How about how it looks like this? Okay? The technology has always been there for us. It's just been introduced to us, and now we've got a great way of doing it. I know this is a little difficult to see, but I'm going to give you a little quick synopsis of this. On the far left, it says, in 2002, Bill Gates introduces the tablet PC. Some of you already may remember that, okay? But the rest of you don't remember because nobody cared that Bill Gates and Microsoft introduces the tablet PC. Because, it was the one that could flip around, be flat, you could write on the screen. Nobody cared. In 2010, Steve Jobs introduced the Apple iPad, and the world went crazy. The world went crazy. It hasn't changed since. In 2012, Steve Ballmer at Microsoft brought out the Surface, the Microsoft Surface smart tablet. Everybody said, oh, you just stole that idea from Apple. Well, here's something interesting. Can you say in 2007, Palm Incorporated, they brought out a device, well, they introduced a device, I'll say that. It was called the Palm Folio. It was everything that the iPad is today, but they never brought it out. 3 weeks before they were ready to ship it, they decided to scrub the whole project. They had millions of them in a warehouse. I worked with Palm for over 10 years as an independent contractor. I had one of these in my hand. I lust after it today. All right? Wi-Fi wasn't out quite the same way in 2007 as it is today. You had to connect it to your phone, but it did all the things that your iPad does. Give you a larger footprint to do all the things that you do over the internet. So all those things that the iPad came out with in 2010, Palm had already developed by 2007. Everybody should be able to recognize this guy. All right? All right? In 1939, he was talking on his wristwatch. All right? In 1964, it changed into a television. That was around the time that I was a little kid watching him, right? 2015, the iWatch and Android Google Gear. It's here. We have that technology. It's inexpensive, it's powerful, it's useful, and it's really changing our dynamics. Everything from your work life to your personal life, right? Managing your health and your exercise and all those things are coming across this technology. It's a beautiful technology. Now I want to go real quickly over some of the latest technology features that are out there. When you get ready to buy a new smartphone or you want to buy a tablet, you want to compare what's out there, I want you to ask the right questions. I don't want you to just see what's got the best price, what looks the best, or what the guy at the store is recommending, because a lot of times what he's recommending is based on his commission. All right? I want you to know the right questions to ask. The first thing you want to know is, what about the processor speed? Okay? I was talking with the ladies just a little while ago. They're asking me what was the difference between the Samsung Galaxy S3 and the S4. And the processor speed changed everything. All right? Now, with the S5 and the new iPhones, iPhone 6, 5S and 6, they changed it too. iPhone 5S came out with a 64-bit processor. Now, if that sounds familiar with you, that's because most of your laptops have a 64-bit processor. That's how fast that device is. Right now, in America, that's the fastest smartphone you can buy. The iPhone 5S or the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. They have 64-bit processors. The Galaxy devices, the S5 and the HTC M1, the devices that are coming out, the new Note, they don't have a 64-bit processor in them. But what Samsung did was they put 2 dual-core processors in it. Now, what that did was made it just as fast as the iPhone 5 and 6 because it just basically divided the tasks. So one processor is dedicated toward running the phone, you know, all the computing aspects of it. And the other processor is managing your information, how you connect to the internet, how you manage your contacts, how you use your apps. And so it divided up the processes, which means it can run faster. So the devices are really fast today. But when you go into the store, if it's anything less than a quad-core processor or an A6, as what Apple calls it, then I would say walk past it. Because the apps that we're using today, the devices, the technology, we drain our devices so rapidly in terms of our speed. Most of your devices, they're probably running half as fast as they could right now because of the apps, because of the technology. Then, of course, there's 4G. You've heard about the 4G data. They've been talking about it for years, 4G LTE. Well, I can tell you right now that you really haven't reached 4G yet. I would say you're somewhere between 3.5. Now, 4G is actually a 5-year project. Okay, I love to hear them talk about LTE on the commercials and make it a great marketing tool. Well, you know what the LTE stands for? Long-term expansion. Okay, that's what it means. Remember 5 years ago when all the television stations gave up their analog signals and everybody went HD? Well, they took those frequencies, the FCC did, and they divvied them up with the wireless carriers and the satellite companies so that they could provide us faster downloads coming over the airwaves. They gave them wider bandwidth, right? Faster internet, faster satellite communications. That's why, you know, you can see, what is it? I think it's Dish Network. They're advertising where you can take your DVR and just take it anywhere you want without having it connected. You know, bandwidth has everything to do with that. All right, watching 6 programs at once on the screen. Bandwidth. Now, we're supposed to be able to get really fast downloads and uploads on our phone. Have you experienced any big difference? I think not. Because the technology really has not been introduced to us the way it should have 4 years ago. But we're at the end of year 4 of that 5-year plan, and hopefully by the end of that year 4, we will actually have real 4G. Now, the problem with that will be the apps that we're running, the size of Dropbox, the size of Facebook, the size of Evernote, they're so huge. In all our business apps, we're going to need 5G. So we'll see how that works out. Larger memory is a bigger issue now on our smartphones and our tablets. One of the most common questions I got 3 weeks ago with the release of the iOS 8 was people saying, William, what can I do? I went to update to iOS 8 and it told me that I didn't have enough memory. Anybody have that issue? Yeah. Okay. So I actually put up on my Facebook, the business page, steps that you could do to get that memory. Basically, cleaning out your email box. If you've got 5,000 and 6,000 emails sitting in there, that's where all your memory is. If you've got 2,000 or 3,000 photos, clean the photos out. Put them on your hard drive, temporarily if necessary, so that you would get the memory so that you could update your device. Now, another reason why we need that additional memory is think about the photos that you're taking on your camera now. If you have an iPhone, the minimum size of the photos is going to be 5 megapixels. You have an iPhone 5, 8 megapixels. On the iPhone 6, I think it's up to 13 megapixels. Every photo you take, the file size is huge. That's why you can't email a whole bunch of them at the same time. The files are just too big. On the Android, the new Android devices, the Samsung Galaxy S5, the camera is a 16 megapixel camera. And if you have a Windows, the Nokia Windows phone, the Nokia, I think it's was it the 5120? Is that the one you have? You have the 1520? Basically, yes. Basically, what you have in your hand is a camera that works as a phone. Because what is it, 54 megapixels?
Actually, the 1520 is less than some of the other Nokias. That's why I went with this.
Okay.
The battery life on this is faster.
It's better?
But the ones that have a higher camera megapixels,
Yes.
the battery life is
Yeah, it does drain the battery. But absolutely. But I'm just illustrating that the technology is there. I mean, you're taking studio quality photos with a smartphone. Okay? So the files are huge when you take them that way. So we need more memory on our devices to be able to manage that. The apps that you're running now, huge. And they keep taking up more and more space too, which is why we do Mobile Device Maintenance Day. Because by cleaning out the cache in your internet browser, by cleaning out your device, by resetting it once a day, you're going to clean out all the activities that your device does. And so because I only have an hour, that's one of the things that I would want to do that we don't. But I teach that in every session that I teach when I teach my mobile technology classes. We go through the process of cleaning out our email. We go through the process of cleaning out your text messages. We go through the process of cleaning out your browser cache, your internet browser, and your history, things of that nature. You reset your device once a day, not deleting anything, just giving it a reboot so that you can clean out the RAM cache. Stopping those programs that are running in the background is a big, big battery saver. And it keeps your device running fast. So those kind of things are going to be instrumental to having larger memory. I just talked about the multimedia improvements. Not only do we have larger capacities of the camera, all the cameras now are shooting high definition. So the files are going to be larger, but the technology is really there for us. As a realtor, these things open up the doors for you so wide. Your imagination is the only thing that's stopping you from what you can think about on how you can provide the ultimate customer service, right? When you're taking your clients out to show them properties, I mean, you've got a camera and a video camera that you can record the moment, or recording things. I talk about that when we get into the Evernote, for example. And then, of course, the cloud apps, which we've been talking about, make all the difference. When I teach my Google Universe class, we talk about how to incorporate all the free tools from Google, starting with Gmail. And I bet everybody in the room, if you don't have a Gmail, you've seen it before, but you have no idea the power that Gmail has and can offer you as a mobile office tool. And so we walk through that whole process and tie it into the calendar, tie it into your CRM, even all the way down to your photos and your videos in Picasa and YouTube, using Google Drive. There's so many things that you can do with that, with those cloud apps, going along with the other things that we do. This is where it is now, ladies and gentlemen. We're living in the cloud. How many people are still using Outlook, for example, on your computer? Okay, see, the number is dwindling, but I can tell you, for those of you who raised your hand, I've got some good news and some bad news. Okay, the bad news is Microsoft is no longer going to support Outlook on your computer. Not after Windows 8. Why? Because they've moved everything to the cloud. Have you seen Outlook.com? Have you seen Office 365? They've moved Word, Excel, and PowerPoint right there to the internet. You don't need a hard drive anymore. In fact, if you were to go buy a new laptop at the store today, odds are the ones that they're going to show you have no hard drive at all. They have flash drives like your smartphone and your tablet, instantaneously on. Not a lot of space for storage because they're designed for cloud computing. Everything we connect to is on the internet. So this is what we're doing right now on the internet. We're getting our email, of course. We're managing our calendar, our productivity. We're doing our contacts. I talk about building your CRM, or your client relationship management system. That's a huge part of your cloud life or your business life. Documents and files. I talked about that a little bit a while ago. Custom phone system. I have a tool called Google Voice, where I haven't had to call my phone's voicemail in 7 years. to get a voicemail, because anytime someone calls me, if it goes to voicemail, it goes into my Gmail. I read it as an email. It's transcribed for me. If it's not transcribed well, I can press a little button there and it will play it back for me as if I did call my voicemail. And it customizes my greetings so that when people call me, depending upon who they are, the voicemail greeting that they get will be determined. So my family and friends have one, my business colleagues have another. No caller ID or new people, they have a separate greeting. You want to set up one for your real estate business, completely different from what your family and friends will ever hear. Individual people, your spouse, any child, you want to set up a specific greeting for them, and it's fluid. It works beautifully. I've been using it like that for 7 years. So these are cloud tools that are available to you for your mobile office. Photo sharing. I just talked a minute ago about how difficult it is to attach 6 or 7 photos to an email now. Well, using a tool like Google Picasa, which will allow you to create albums, and you can put up to 1,500 photos in one album mixed in there with video. You can organize them, caption them, do creative editing, all kinds of neat things. And when it's time to share it, you can simply send someone a link by email. They click on it and a slideshow breaks out. You want to put it on your website. When someone opens your website, it'll automatically start a slideshow. You want to put it on your social media. You know you've put photos on your social media before. How about a whole slideshow of your listings? Your personal and your professional photos can be organized and distributed in a much, much neater, fluid, and more powerful way than ever before using tools like this. Same thing with your video. I wanted to listen to that gentleman this morning who talked about making the importance of making great video in your business. And he was absolutely right about how more people respond to you when they see your YouTube videos. And YouTube is the go-to place. But what he didn't tell you, I mean, because of course he was trying to sell you on his product, but what he didn't tell you was that all of those features are there for you to use. If you have a Gmail account, you already have a YouTube channel. And you can go in there and create your own YouTube, go in there, put all your listing videos up there, put your photo slideshows up there. It's got magnificent editing tools. I love teaching people how to take a slideshow. Let's say you've got 20 photos in a slideshow, and with the click of your mouse, convert it to a YouTube video. That's how easy it is. Add music to it. You want to put captions on it. You want to add annotations to it. It's all easy. Sitting in front of your computer, a cup of tea and a mouse. That's all you need. Okay? And putting them up on the website, emailing them out, putting them up on your social media or your YouTube channel. All those kind of things are available to you. Of course. And then, of course, you've got your music and your entertainment. All these things are happening. This is what life in the cloud is all about. Your entire office and your personal life. Everything's available to you worldwide. Anywhere you can connect by internet, you have access to everything. Now, these are the 3 main players in the cloud world right now. You have Google and what I call the Google universe. Then, of course, you have Apple and their iCloud with all the tools that are available to them, typically between, iPads, iPhones, and iPod Touch, and, iMacs, and the whole connection in that respect. And then, of course, the Microsoft Cloud, which I just spoke on, with all of the Word, Excel, and PowerPoint tools, Outlook.com. If you have a Hotmail account or an MSN email address, they've actually already invited you to change it over to Outlook.com. A lot of the business tools are there as part of the Microsoft. They've got the SkyDrive, which is very much like Google Drive. So you've got a place to store your documents in a lot of space. So Microsoft has a lot of working tools up there too. Now, when I compare these, all of them are great. They all work the same, and you get to choose which ones you want to work. But I personally think that Google offers the most variety of tools that create your mobile office solution for, with the phone system and with the YouTube and all those things, because they all tie together. They all tie together. And so I think right now they're offering the greatest solution. Those others, Apple's moving quickly in that direction. Microsoft, the same thing. So it's not, it's a competition, but right now you can basically choose whatever you want. But it's all based on cloud. Leave that, it's time to wean yourself off of the hard drive. That's the point I want to make. All right? I gave a little definition of what cloud computing is earlier today, because this is what a lot of people have not figured out. You hear them talk about the cloud all the time, but they don't tell you what the cloud is. Well, it's just a technology that allows us to access the information that we need over the internet. So if you have the app on your tablet or the app on your phone or log in on your laptop or your desktop computer, you're going to connect to an internet server, or server over the internet rather, and all the information is sitting on that side. So if you're bidding at eBay or buying shoes at Zappos or reading the Wall Street Journal, you don't need any software on your computer to do that. Some of you may remember we have to go to Best Buy, buy some software and install it on our computers? Or am I that old? All right? But there was a time that we had to do that. But no, we connect to the internet now, and everything we need is right there connected by the server. But what that also means is that that server can be anywhere, just like we can. So I can do banking sitting in a hotel in Dubai just as easily as I can sitting in my bedroom in Atlanta. Okay? Same experience, as long as I can connect to the internet. All right? So that's the whole thing that cloud computing affords us. And again, this is what has changed the life of a real estate professional, because you don't make any money sitting behind your desk. It just doesn't happen. Now, I showed this earlier about my favorite cloud-based applications outside of the Google universe, because these are perfect complements to my Google tools. People ask me, well, you got a Google Drive, why do you also have a Dropbox? Well, I use my Dropbox primarily to store stuff, all right? Because it doesn't do exactly what Google Drive does for me, but it stores a lot of my stuff. Plus, I had it first. So I have thousands and thousands and thousands of files in my Dropbox that I can access anytime, anywhere, on my smartphone, on my tablet, or on my computer. All right? And it works beautifully. So it's designed for you to be able to connect to your applications and your documents from anywhere you are, whether you have your devices or not. You can share folders with people. So if you're working with a team and you all want to share the same information at the same time, if you own the Dropbox, give your team members access to that folder. They don't have access to the other folders, just that one. You know, you can selectively choose which folders sync to your computers and which don't. For example, if you have real estate folders that you sync between your laptop and your Dropbox, if you also sync your Dropbox to your desktop computer that the rest of the family uses, you can selectively sync it so that that real estate folder does not sync onto the family's computer, just your laptop and just to the cloud. So you can do that. You can also email into, a lot of times I'll get an email coming into my Gmail. I can forward it directly into my Dropbox and it'll store. Do that in my Evernote as well. So you can do this, sync to multiple computers, go back and forth between the PC and the internet files, email directly in, as I just said, selectively synchronization. All these tools are great. Many of you who have a Dropbox, your phone has already asked you, do you want me to take your photos and upload them as you take them? Because it will store them for you. So you can take your photos off your phone, because as you take them, if you're connected to the internet, of course, through your Wi-Fi or through your 4G, it will just upload them directly into a folder into your Dropbox. And this is another tool that I think I'd like. It has what's called a revision history. So let's say you are sharing your folders with someone else. That's my phone telling me it's time for me to shut up, almost. Anyway, it has a revision history feature so that if you're working on a document and you want to go back and see what it looked like before you made all the changes, you can go back to the very original document. All right? Google Drive does that as well. Let me slip through this. All right. This is what it looks like. This is the desktop version of Dropbox and you see these folders. Over here is the cloud. The folders are exact same order. The files are exact same. So whatever you put in one, you put in the other. If you put something on your cloud, if you're here sitting in here and you're not connected to your laptop, you're on your tablet, you add something to your Dropbox. When you get home and open up your Dropbox, it'll be sitting there on your C drive. That's the way it works. And it syncs between all your devices, just like that. Now, the cloud is just one place. It's one technology, right? And what Dropbox does, it uses the cloud. See, if I put something on my tablet, the tablet will share it with the Dropbox in the cloud, which will share it on my computer and my smartphone, and vice versa. So if you put something in one place, all places get it. Same thing with your Google tools and with your Evernote. Okay? That's what Evernote's all about. Yes, sir. That's one, his questions about can you edit and change documents in Google Drive. That's the main difference between Dropbox and Google Drive. You can actually create documents. You don't need Word, Excel, and PowerPoint if you have a Google Drive because you've got the tools. And you can edit what you have. You can create new documents. It's a tremendous piece of technology. You can also collaborate with other people. I've actually worked on a document with someone else, with a friend of mine who is in Brazil. He lives in Brazil. I live in Atlanta. I shared the document with him. We're on a Google Hangout, so we can see each other over our tablets, and we're working on the same document. His cursor's on the screen, and my cursor's on the screen, and we're working on the same document at the same time. It's beautiful technology. But here, this is what Evernote's all about. I'm telling you, if you've never seen Evernote, get an Evernote account, okay? Get an account, learn how to use it. It's really basically all the same things that we talked about in Dropbox, but it's all about organizing, okay? You will use this tool every single day. I start my day in Evernote, and I'm one of those people, I like to see my things to do every day and my dreams and motivations and all that. All that's built into my Evernote account. And so that's my personal side. But I also have my business side, okay? So this is basically what it looks like. You start by creating a system. You create a system of stacks, which are the main categories, and then you have subcategories or notebooks, and then each notebook has its own collection of notes. So let's say you had one called real estate, and then in notebooks you had one said buyers and one said sellers. And then for each one you had notes for the Jones, the Davises, and the Smiths in notes. And you would keep an entire diary of the process, the sales process from beginning to end underneath that note, right? And you would be able to capture text, video, photographs, documents, save them as PDFs, Word files, spreadsheets, voice messages. You can do voice to text. All of that is right there. You can even scan. When I'm traveling now, I don't even keep the paper receipts anymore. I take a photo of it in Evernote, and it stores in a notebook in my personal travel folder. Okay? And it's already ready for my CPA. Yes, sir. Can you do email? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, you can email directly into Evernote as well. I'm buying some real estate, some investment properties in downtown Atlanta. And so my realtor is sending me listings every day, right? And so when I get them, I just forward them into a particular folder in my Evernote. So I have them all there, and they're organized by price. So it's a great tool. So stacks, notebook, notes. I know I got to finish because we got another group coming in. So you can see this. I want to show you where you can find this presentation too, by the way. So you have a way that you can just organize this. Now, if you don't come to my Evernote class, I've got it. I'm actually teaching it for CE in states like New York and Georgia. Hopefully I'll bring it to Colorado too. But you know where you can find a great place to learn how to use Evernote? YouTube. Just do a search and just put in Evernote tutorials, and hundreds of them will pop up. You can learn brain surgery in YouTube, I'm telling you. All right? But it's not, the tutorial in Evernote is not going to give you anything near what some of these YouTube videos will give you, because these people are actual users. I'll tell you one that'll give you a great one. You might want to write this down. A guy by the name of Steve Dotto, D-O-T-T-O. And he has a place called Dotto Tech. You can find he does all kind of great technology tips and tricks for novices. But he did a webinar on Evernote just a couple of weeks ago, and I attended it, and it was fabulous. I think it was really good. Let me show you, because I'm out of time, where to find this presentation. If you go to my website, okay, and click on Mobile Tech right there. Mobile Tech. The entire presentation. I mean, it's actually a 3-hour class, so there's a lot of slides in here. It's still loading, but the whole thing's right there. So you can click that right on my website and get it. Did anybody get anything back from me when they sent me an email? Did you? All right. That tool, that's one of the Gmail tools that I like using. It's called a canned response. And so I was able to share with you how to get your Dropbox, how to get your Evernote. There's even information on how to get my book, things of that nature, right there. Let's say that you want to put that link on your website, and it says, click here for more information. And so a potential prospect clicks on that, they put in their name and their email address, and tap send. So it would send you the email. The moment you received it, you got a response right back to that person, because it almost came back to you instantaneously, okay? And it said, thank you for your inquiry. I'll get back with you by the end of close of business day. You wanted to add photos, links to anything, slideshows, whatever. You have that privilege right then and there. And depending upon what you want to send them or what they were clicking to, you could have a number of different canned responses. This is taking its time to load up, but it's my email address?
No, on your
on my website. Just click on Mobile Tools right on the left side, and it'll take you directly to that presentation, and you'll be able to open it up and see everything that we've done so far. So here's my website again, www.pdapowerplus.com. There's my email address. If you have a question, a comment, anything you want to share with me, anytime. I have never, ever failed to answer an email that I get from any of you. And so please, let me know if there's something I can help you with. I come to Colorado quite a bit. This is my third trip this year. I was in Western Colorado. I did a whole week of 6-hour CE classes. Wonderful experience. I don't know how I was able to drive and look at the mountains at the same time, but I was able to pull it off. And I did it again right in April, right at the last 17-inch snowfall. All right. I did that. So listen, thank you, everybody. I did that. Thank you, everybody. I've got to set up for my next session. I really appreciate you. I'm asking questions. Yes, ma'am. If you become cloud dependent, they're going to start charging you for this? Absolutely not. I'll give you an example. Google made $46 billion last year by the fact that everybody was using their free applications. Right? So you don't have to worry about them charging you for the cloud is free. Yes, ma'am. To store your passwords? There's Password Keeper. There's this is what you should do. Just do a Google search and just put in Password Keeper or password encryption. Yeah, they'll store them for you. You can put them on your smartphone or on your laptop. I'll tell you a good way to create passwords. And I tell people about every 3 months or so, it's time to do your passwords again. What I started doing was I would take a word from my past, maybe one of my old high school teachers or something, right? And I would split their name in half, and I'd put a number that was relevant to me, maybe an old address in the middle of that name. And so generators would never be able to pick anything like that up. It would take them forever to try to figure that out. That's a good one. And also passwords with no vowels. Okay? I mean, there's no such thing as an English word without a vowel. Well, there is, but passwords without vowels. They're hard to remember, but they're hard to clone. They're hard to crack. So, you know, there are ways to do it. But yes, there are places that you can keep your passwords. Yes, ma'am. Okay, that's your iCloud telling you that it wants to back up your data. And it's telling you it doesn't have enough space because it probably is using up all of it with photos and whatnot. That's what Dropbox is for. Back up your stuff in Dropbox, back it up in Google Drive, and not worry about, because Apple's only given us little small 5 megabytes to store with. It's really not it's not a great place to store data, so don't even bother with that for now. I think, yeah, just fill out the sheet from Trulia for the iPad drawing. They want to make sure that you get eligible for that. And Jay, can I add something to that? If they, to your iPad users, give them my email address and tell them that they won the iPad, and I will give them a free introductory session on the iPad. The book? If you got the email back from me, the link says, yeah, the link is in the email that you got back from me. All they do is click on it and they'll be able to get it. Thank you all so much.